Welcome back to Valley Boys TCG. I'm CK, and today we're continuing with some locals gameplay. We have the purple curse on the left going against yellow on the right. Yellow is a new blend that I'm working with. It is yellow with splash of red, kind of like an orange rush or orange crush, if you will. And it looks like we are going first with yellow, and we start off by dropping the Volcanic Canyon. Now, Volcanic Canyon is a new tech that I'm trying in the deck because with Behemoth, it does count the 2-cost spirits in your trash, so trashing 2 costs isn't a bad thing. And then we see the Smoke Valley go on the other side for purple, so it's Nexus for Nexus. Here we start off, we draw again, we draw our second card thanks to the Volcanic Canyon, and we choose to discard... looks like a Hippocampo. It's interesting. Oh, I think it's because we have a second one in hand anyway. So, paying the 3, yep, we have another Hippocampo to put on board. And since they have nothing out to stop us, this is the perfect play you want to do. Get Hippocampo out when there's nothing to block it. We'll take a core from life, and we'll heal up 1, get us up to 6. Now, the interesting thing about Blessed Effect, being able to add cores from the void into your life, is that this game has no maximum life. So you can, as long as you can keep swinging with Hippocampo and taking life, you can keep healing up. So now opponent is going with the Dark Knight Florence here, getting a first Curse Spirit on board. And then we see the Core Drain come down. That's a nice little combo there because they will be able to draw thanks to Purple Smoke Valley, which states if you delete one of your opponents by reducing their cores to 0, you get to draw a card. So a good little combo piece there. Purple has 2 kind of main veins to go with, the Curse or the Core Drain aspect, but they still kind of work together well. And see, here we see another Nexus come down, the Rotting Swamp. And if you notice on yellow side, they have no yellow spirits or yellow nexus on board to help reduce costs for the future plays, so that's not the best aspect right now. They swing in with the Dark Knight, and yellow just takes it from life. And here we see our extra draw, and we toss the turtle. Alright, so there's a 2-cost in trash, helping fuel up the Behemoth play. And we see the Night Cat Sith. So when summoned, look at the top 2 cards. And we see our Fulla and an Aravata. Aravata would have helped double block and double attack. Fulla would have helped with the Core Drain, but that is a very, very bad mill. The cat did us dirty there. So getting those 2 3-cost spirits in the trash doesn't help us with Behemoth and only hurts us at this aspect. We see Freezetal come down here, 1 cost, thanks to its 1 reduction, having the cat already out. And now with yellow, we got to decide, do we go in or do we just kind of slow, keep a defender on board? But he has Curse anyway, so might as well chip at him here. We hit him with the Freezetal. And then we pass there, leaving the cat up to defend next turn. And now our opponent's got a good amount of cores here. I personally haven't used the core cards. I've only used the little core gems. I feel like the core cards take up too much space on the board. Alright, now we see a Beldegor come down, and it will destroy our Freezetal, and we do not get its effect. We look at it again, but then we realize no, it's only during combat, or during the attack phase. This is still the main phase, as it was destroyed while it was being summoned. So Freezetal's effect doesn't go off, and then we see the Okapandal, which will be another Curse Spirit on board. So we have to be careful with what we're going to block with. So we take that from life, and Beldegor goes in. We'll go ahead and take that from life, and we let the other spirit go in. So now we're down to 2 life, and I think we just have a good hand to do something next turn. We're going to ahead and take all that damage to life just so that we can get more cores on board. He's got a lot of stuff on his side, but we're going to see what we can do to come back. Let's see, we've got some decisions to make, and that early swing with the Hippocampo giving us an extra life kind of works to extend our plays, and we see we toss the Behemoth thanks to the Volcanic Canyon. We probably have another one in hand. And looks like we set a burst here, very likely an absolute ice shield. And then we drop the Flamefish. Now, Flamefish is a 2-cost 1 reduction thanks to having the Volcanic Canyon. It only costs us 1, so get a pretty beefy Flamefish out. And then we see the Prince Penton come down. Again, the 1 reduction thanks to the cat. So now we got some things. Penton does us dirty by whiffing on the search because he's looking for a 2-cost, and we reveal a Fabled Beast. Had that been Flying Turtle instead, we would have been able to add it to hand, but that's fine. He only has 3 cores in life, and we have 3 spirits attacking, and then he just shows his hand. He has no way of stopping us there. So we go on to game 2. And I believe my opponent decides to go first. Yeah, purple goes first. Both of us decide to keep our hand. And he starts off by setting a burst. And then dropping the Boa Trickster, so getting an early Cursed Spirit out. Not a bad start. It's going to make me second guess about defending next turn. So it looks like we're just going to drop the Blessed Cathedral to start off our turn, get a Nexus on board. Probably the best Nexus for yellow. Blessed Cathedral, just so much value. Especially if you're running a pretty beefy 2-cost package. 2-cost yellow package, I should say. And then we see Dark Knight Florence come back down. Now we got 2 Cursed Spirits on board, but doesn't matter. I have nothing to defend with anyway. And, you know, the curse isn't too big of an issue for yellow because, especially with the 2-cost Behemoth type, you don't mind if your 2-cost spirits die because Behemoth's still going to count them from the trash. And here we get 2 hits to life, which is okay because it kind of ramps us up. We have a lot of low-cost spirits to drop, so the more life, the wider we can get our board, and we can potentially go for the turn 2 kill. So we've got a Cathedral out. We've got a couple of cores here. If we have the right spirits in hand, he has no defenders. So first we drop the Turtle. So we're going to search for a Fabled Beast, and look at that, we hit. We get the Aravata, so that's a good start. And then we go ahead and just Burning Force his board. So just explaining that everything 3,000. So since his spirits are still low enough, looks like we're going for more of the control aspect. Trying to keep his hand size down before he gets into that Netherworld Depths, because purple can draw a lot. So trying to reduce the amount of resources in hand and what they can do is kind of clutch here. And now we see we drop the Sword Angel, free costs, thanks to its 2-cost 2 reduction. And so now purple has to try to respond here. They core up. See, his hand is already getting a little thin. We have 2 spirits that we can block with, and if they block, it just ramps us up with the Cathedral, so it's nice. And then he decides to swap out his burst. Which is an interesting choice because the burst that he had set initially was Bloody Rain, which is a really strong burst to have against yellow at this point, because yellow doesn't put a lot of cores typically on their spirits. I typically have just 1 core on all my spirits, so that Bloody Rain would have actually been a really good thing to keep on board. We see the swamps come down, and he double checks what burst card he put, and I think he asked if he can take back the Nexus play, I guess because he wanted to have enough cores to be able to play the secondary effect from the burst card, but I don't think he took into account that he would be able to get cores off of life loss. So I think taking it back was a mistake. He could have still been able to pay for the burst by just taking a hit to life or 2, and then he would still have a Nexus on board. So I think that was a misplay on his part. So we go ahead and use this turn to drop the Calamity Beast and core it up to level 3. Its first effect is during my attack step, all my 2-cost get plus 2,000, which isn't a big deal because he has nothing to block with, but his second effect to restand 2 of my 2-costs means that we could potentially be lethal right here. Even though he still has full 5 life, we'll swing with the 2-costs first. So we'll swing Turtle first. He's just asking the DP what's the DP boost or what they're at. Takes the core damage. We swing with the Angel. And this is where he chooses to activate his burst, the dark matter. So first off, he'll get a spirit back to hand from his trash as long as it costs 4 or less. And then he'll be able to use its second effect to destroy one of my exhausted spirits, which will be any of the 2 cost essentially. He selects to sack the angel, which is probably the smart thing because it only sends 1 core back to my reserve, whereas if he had swung at the turtle or destroyed the turtle, I would have had 2 cores in reserve, giving me a little more flexibility to counter in some way. We talk about the Blessed Cathedral effect, which will let me grab another core from the void since a yellow spirit was destroyed. And now we swing with the Calamity Beast, which will restand the turtle. He takes it from life. We go ahead and swing the turtle, put him down to 1 life in case there's any sort of shenanigans with Ice Shield. Now it won't be able to be procced. So you see, he's got plenty of resources, lots of cores to work with. It's just what he elects to do with them. I do not have a burst set, which means I probably have not seen an Ice Shield yet. So if he has some low-cost spirits in hand, he could just rush me down here. Unless I have some sort of removal counterplay like Angelic Pressure or even Exhaust Nexus to a certain extent. Alright, here he goes with the Dark Knight Florence, gets a spirit on board. If he can pull out 3 spirits, I think I really need some sort of removal here. And looks like I think he does go wide, so we see a Beldegor come down. And Beldegor does have the when summoned effect to destroy something that costs 4 or less if it is exhausted. So his only target will be the turtle. So turtle goes down. But that still puts 2 yellow spirits, 2 costs in our trash. And we see another Beldegor come down. And so now he is presenting lethal. And then an Aglavale comes down after that. And he's just moving around his cores because he wants on Aglavale. We take that one from life. No burst. And then we Burning Force on his next attack with Beldegor. We decide to Burning Force. We get just enough to pop the other 2 that have yet to attack. And he realizes he put them backwards. He put the spirit on the core side, and the cores need to move to the spirit side. And then he graciously concedes the game because he knows he has no way of stopping the Calamity Beast next turn. He's down to 1 life. So, very fun game, very fun opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Hope you guys join us for the next one.